It's Future Friday. We got to talk about the San Diego Gulls and much more on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, welcome back, everydayers. Thanks for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. $200 if your first $5 bet wins. I'm Kyle Carr, and I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan. I've been covering collegiate sports for multiple years, including college hockey. But today we're talking Anaheim Ducks. And actually, we're going to be talking about the San Diego Gulls. They had a great game out in Henderson. So we're going to talk about that and just how things are going for the Gulls right now. And then we're going to have our Future Friday segment, breaking down some of the prospects within the Anaheim Ducks pipeline, and then taking a look at the week ahead for the Ducks. So first, let's get into the San Diego Gulls and their domination of the Henderson Silver Knights out in Henderson on Friday. They defeat the Henderson Silver Knights 4-0. 4-0, guys. It was a great game out there. Niko Mijatovic gets 2 goals, and Carson Twarynski gets a goal and an assist. Those are his first 2 points with San Diego. So welcome to the squad, bud. Good to have you, Carson. Tristan Leno stays hot. He gets 2 assists in the game tonight. And then Stian Solberg and Ian Moore make their first debut with the Gulls tonight. So good to have them in the lineup. I saw Solberg did get a couple shots on the goal, and so did Ian Moore, even though they both are defensemen. So adding some offense there. And obviously they played really well in defense, as it was a shutout tonight. So good to have them in the lineup. Niko Mijatovic's first multi-goal. This was his first multi-goal game in AHL, his career out here. So wonderful to have that going. He's gotten a couple single goal games here and there throughout the season, but this was his first multi-goal game. So congratulations to Mijatovic and your 2 goals tonight. Ville Husso, he was spending some time up there with Anaheim. He goes back to San Diego and posts a shutout with 28 saves. 28 saves. That is huge for Husso right now. A lot of confidence building right there in front of the team and behind the team with Husso. So right now, kind of just giving you an idea of what the San Diego Gulls team looks like and kind of where they're at right now with their current active players, so not including Sam Colangelo and Nikita Nesterenko, as they are technically with Anaheim right now, and Colangelo is out with injury. So just looking at the current active players and their leaders when it comes to scoring. So right now, the leader for the team with goals is Ryan Carpenter. He's got 18 goals on the season right now. And then coming in hot is Tristan Leno. This guy, he's leading both the assist category and the points category for the team. He has 38 assists and 44 points on the season. He is just blazing hot right now. He's playing extremely well. Right now, he's got 9 points in the last 10 games, guys. 9 points. He's just out there buzzing, playing really well, and he's a defenseman. Of all things, a defenseman with 9 points in the last 10 games, and he's leading the team in the points and assist column. So good to have him playing strong down there. I assume that this guy will be making it up into the Anaheim roster very, very soon. San Diego is currently in 9th place in the Pacific Division. So it kind of sounds like they're not doing that well, but the AHL's playoffs are a little different. So they're actually only 3 spots out from the playoffs right now. They have a record of 24 wins, 28 losses, and 5 overtime losses. So that gives them 56 points right now. And like I said, they're only 7 points out of a playoff spot at this time. So not too bad They're in that. They've been super, super hot lately. They've been winning most of their games. They dropped a couple against Colorado and San Jose, but they've been playing overall a very strong game. And with these new faces coming in and everyone heating up, they are in a very good place to make it into that last playoff spot. As, like I said, they're only 7 points, and that is the Tucson Roadrunners that's got that wild card spot right now. So a couple spots to climb, and a couple of the teams are tied. Just it's kind of based off of the overtime losses, who has the more, who has less. So they are not that far out of the playoffs. They are grinding, and games like tonight, winning 4-0 over Henderson is only going to help them get there sooner. Looking at the schedule ahead for the Gulls, their next game is Saturday, March 22nd. So tomorrow, if you're listening to this Friday night, or today, if you're listening to it on Saturday. So Saturday, March 22nd, they're playing in Henderson, and they play in San Diego Wednesday, March 26th against the Barracuda, and then Friday, March 28th against the Tucson Roadrunners, who, like I said, they are the ones holding that last playoff spot. So a couple big games coming up for San Diego down there. But the way that they've been playing, it's looking really, really well for the outcome of this team. They had a little slow start at the beginning of the year, but they've been catching up since February. They've been winning most of their games. They were on a 14-game point streak there for a while. So they've been doing really, really good things since February. And I just only see that going up now as they're getting these new guys in. They're getting confidence. You got guys playing up in the AHL like Colangelo and Nestorenko, who's just getting that more NHL experience. And if they do go back down, especially if they make it into the playoffs, and the Ducks are most likely not going to be in the playoffs, you could expect to see those guys down there making an impact for this San Diego team. So San Diego is the AHL affiliate of the Anaheim Ducks, so the level just below the team. But we've got some other prospects out there that are not just on the San Diego team. So coming up in the next segment, I'm going to talk about some of the players that you need to pay attention to when it comes to the Ducks pipeline of prospects. So that will be coming up next.
Did you know getting a good night's sleep is the #1 recipe for long-term success in life? I didn't. It took me way longer to realize than I'd like to admit. It was years of tossing and turning. I was always tired. I never felt like I could live up to my potential, but not anymore. Thanks to Bear Mattress. I used their sleep quiz and I matched with the Elite Hybrid. It's perfect for side sleepers like me. Now I wake up energized. I'm getting deeper sleeps and I'm ready to attack the day. No matter how you sleep, Bear Mattress has a match for you with a focus on recovery, cooling, and pressure relief to upgrade your sleep and improve your overall quality of life. Go to bearmattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout for 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's bearmattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 40% off site-wide. Bearmattress.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL.
And we're back. And I told you on Thursday's episode that I would have the names of the new signings with the San Diego Gulls, and here they are. We have Will Francis. He's a defenseman, and this player, he has been battling lymphoblastic leukemia. Yes, that's right. Lymphoblastic leukemia. So cancer. And he's defeated it 3 times since diagnosed in 2020. He just signed his amateur contract with San Diego. So congrats to you, Will Francis. That is absolutely amazing. He has missed most of the season with Minnesota Duluth due to his treatments, but he did come back recently and he's ready to come play with San Diego. So what a wonderful character guy to have in the room. And the fact that he's been out here battling cancer, but he's still been playing collegiate hockey, taking the time to go do his treatments, but then coming back, playing strong, staying healthy and physical in that aspect. And then now he's signing his amateur hockey contract. Just absolutely, absolutely fantastic for this guy. Cannot wait to see him in a Gulls sweater and eventually in Ducks orange. So congrats to you, Will Francis. And yesterday I did mention that Ian Moore from Harvard did sign. He's also a defenseman. And this guy, he just finished his season with Harvard, and he played in Friday's game against Henderson. So good to have him in the lineup. He had 14 points with Harvard this year, and he had 56 points in his 122 NCAA games. So good career for him out there in the NCAA. It is a very competitive league. So 56 points as a defenseman out of 122 is very, very good numbers for that. So congrats to you, Ian Moore, as well on making your San Diego Gulls debut. Looking forward to some great things out of him and the rest of this season. Now, we all know about Beckett Seneca. He's been playing absolutely great out in the O. Love to see the way that he's been playing. Love to see this shocker of a third pick overall, just putting up big numbers out there. But there's some other players that we need to pay attention to that are playing major juniors out there. So Maxim Massé, he's a right winger. This guy's third round pick he was the 66th overall in 2024. And he currently leads Chicoutimi in points per game with 1.27 average. So he's scoring basically a point a game right now, if not almost 2 goals a game or 2 points a game. And he leads the team in goals with 32. So he's out there taking the charge for Chicoutimi. Good to love to see that. And he is second in points with 57 on the team. So just an absolute offensive force out there. And he scored 26 points since the beginning of February. He is on a tear out in the juniors. And then we have Alexander Blaze. He's a center. He was the 4th round, 100th overall pick in 2024. And he is currently tied 6th in the QMJHL in assists with 51. And he is also ranked 2nd among Rimouski, his team, all skaters in assists and scoring. So those 51 assists, that puts him in 2nd, and he has 71 points. So that puts him in 2nd for Rimouski when it comes to the points. And he has 15 points in March. So another kid that's just been on a complete tear out in juniors. Now, bringing it down into the U.S., with the NCAA, some of the prospects out there, as we saw, Ian Moore just signed his contract. But I also wanted to make a correction to last week, as I said that Austin Bernovic, he's a right winger. I said that he was playing for Northeastern because he plays for the Huskies, but the Huskies he plays for is St. Cloud State. So little error on my part there. Sorry about that. But he's been out there with St. Cloud State, and he now has 28 points with the team. So doing great things in college as he is a freshman. And then we have Kyle Kukkonen. He's a center. This guy was drafted in the 6th round, 162nd overall in 2021. And he is killing it for Wisconsin. He has 37 games played and has 10 goals and 9 assists for a total of 19 points. Love to see that. Playing really solid games out there. Just another strong body. Love to see the centers that are in the prospect pool. As we've seen, Pat Verbeek likes his big centermen, and he likes guys that are playing physical. And this is one of those guys that's going to come over, especially in a program like Wisconsin, and play extremely well for the next tier up when he does come over to the Gulls. So great prospect right there. Now, moving across the seas, heading on over to the Europe area, we got a European prospect, Artyom Galimov. So he is a center and left wing. He was drafted 5th round, 129th overall in 2020. So a little further back in the prospect pool. It's the same year that Ian Moore was drafted. And he's played 67 games with Kazan in the KHL. So a men's league, some would say a very competitive league to the NHL out in Europe. So he has played 67 games and has 35 goals, 24 assists, and a total of 59 points. That is outstanding for 59 points out of 67 games, just completely lighting it up. And he is a plus 32. That guy, there are 32 more goals scored when he is on the ice than when he's not on the ice. That is completely an offensive prowess to have, especially out there in the big European league. So a lot of faces, a lot of names to pay attention to. We'll keep track of what's going on with all of the Ducks pipelines. There are plenty of games coming up. There's the Gulls. They're playing down in San Diego next week. So if you need to make a shift down there, take a little road trip, check out those guys. San Diego always puts on a good show. And you can go see Ian Moore and Solberg and go check out Will Harris when he finally shows up on the team, or Will Francis, sorry. Just amazing stuff going on with our prospects right now. Great time to be not only a Ducks fan, but a Gulls fan and all of our minor affiliates. So keep watch on that. And speaking of keeping watch on things, we're going to talk about what is coming up for Anaheim in the next few days, just looking at the week ahead and what to prepare for as a Ducks fan, whether or not we need to have a mental breakdown or not. We'll talk about that after this. Daylight savings snuck up on us again. And if you're feeling that lost last hour of sleep, the 5-hour energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5-hour energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick me up whenever you need it. Between watching March Madness games, keeping up with Ducks games, the Gulls playing, it seems like every single night there is some sport that I am watching and it's up late. So when I need to get up and start focusing on what I'm going to write for my next episode, I turn to 5-hour energy so I can get that extra buzz going. 5-hour energy has always got my back. So head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Love the blue raspberry. Need one now? Grab a 5-hour energy shot at your local grocery store or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
All right. Welcome back. Time to look at what is coming up for this Anaheim squad in the next week. They have a couple days off after that game in Nashville. They were cruising today. I saw on some players' social media, they had a little pool time today. So they're taking a little break as they don't play until Sunday. And Sunday game is against Carolina. It's a nice earlier game at 5 p.m. in Anaheim at the Honda Center. Almost call it Anaheim. The Carolina, though, this is going to be a test for the Ducks. We know that they can play up. They have this tendency to bring their game when it comes to the higher performing teams and these faster, more dominant teams. The Ducks end up playing toe-to-toe with them. And Carolina, they're not one of the bigger physical teams out there. And the way that the Ducks have been playing with this physical rush type style play, I think can bring a excellent challenge to Carolina on Sunday. Carolina, though, is on an 8-game win streak, and they play LA on Saturday. It's an early game, so it's 4:00 p.m. game for them against LA. However, they play Anaheim. It's a back-to-back, and then they play at 5. So it's like not a true back-to-back game, as it's just down the street, but it's also an hour of break. So it's kind of a weird timing when it comes to the earlier matinee games on the weekends. So don't expect Carolina to be too exhausted. I mean, LA is a great team. They're going to be putting up a good fight, but Anaheim needs to bring their feet on Sunday and need to be awake and ready to go after these couple days off, because do not take the Carolina Hurricanes for granted. Coming up, oh, and also Carolina is the second in the Metro under Washington with 88 points. So, like I said, these guys are up there. They are playing really good hockey on the 8-game win streak, just bringing a lot of heat ever since the Mikko Rantanen trade, which was a very controversial issue. So they are absolutely flying right now, and it's up to Anaheim to put a squash to it. Wednesday, March 26th, they are home again. The Ducks are against Boston. Then Boston is currently on a 4-game losing streak and plays San Jose and LA in between now and Wednesday. So Boston's one of the lower teams right now. They've been having a little rough time when it comes to winning, but these guys, you can never count out the Bruins. They always have a physical style. There is the Bruins mentality. I lived out there for a couple of years, got to go to some great high playoff games with them and watch the way that they have and the culture that they have out there. So you can never, ever, ever write off Boston. These guys are always a great team. However, the Ducks usually tend to have Boston's number. It seems like no matter what the play is or what year it is, Anaheim brings it to Boston. When the Ducks were in their lowest of lows in the last couple of years and Boston was the highest of highs, Anaheim was winning the games, even in TD Garden. So it's kind of up there, but if I was a betting man, I would put my money on Anaheim on Wednesday, just with how the season's been going for Boston and how these guys are buzzing out here in Anaheim. They are 5 spots out of the wild card with only 69 points, so kind of around the same area as the Ducks right now. But like I said before, the Anaheim Ducks, their energy, their youthfulness, the way that they've been playing has been a lot more stagnant and little more noticeable than the Bruins. Bruins losing Brad Marchand and Brandon Carlo, just 2 big key aspects of the team. Kind of a crusher right there. Charlie Coyle's out too, like just completely changing the roster for Boston. So expect a good one on Wednesday, but like I said, Anaheim most likely coming out on top with that one. And then on Friday, to finish out the week, they play against the Rangers in Anaheim as well. So a nice 3-game home streak here, at least for this week. So some big games out of conference, but also these are points to catch up and possibly, these are some good teams that Anaheim could come away with a win. I know I said that before against St. Louis and Dallas. They did come out with 3 points on the road trip out of 6 possible points. So another 6-point streak here. Let's see how they do. I believe they can do it. I've got faith. The Rangers are on a 3-game winning streak, so they're playing a little bit better. And they play Vancouver and LA before Friday. So 2 decent teams as well to play against this Rangers squad. They are 2 spots out of a wild card with 72 points and only 2 points beyond Montreal. And they are tied with the Islanders, but they have less OT wins. So they both have 72 points, but Islanders are technically ahead because they have 1 more OT win than just a flat out loss compared to, they have OT. They have less OT losses compared to the Islanders. So those extra points there. The Rangers, not the season that they were looking for after the domination and how far they went in the playoffs last year. This year, they expected to take a little step forward, but they just kind of landed flat this year. The Empire State Building has been playing a lot better of a game this year. Still physical, still getting in scrums. He's got to watch the elbows, so the Ducks got to be aware of that. But he's also been playing a much more solid game, and skating's coming along. So he's one of those players to be looking out for when the New York Rangers come out into Anaheim. So pretty decent week ahead, pretty decent competition. The Ducks have a lot of opportunities to continue to use the rush style of play that they used against Nashville. I was very, very impressed with their game against Dallas at the second half of the game, and then the way that they dominated Nashville. If they can continue that style of play with the rush, the puck support with tape-to-tape passes, and then continuing to use the cycle, moving players around in the offensive zone, not just staying stagnant and keep shuffling that D around by moving in the offensive zone. Defense gets tired, and that results in goals. And just clog the center lanes, clog that slot, get in traffic, take away the keeper's eyes, get some trash goals like Zegras did on Thursday. Just continue to utilize the things that were positive and apply that to the power play. They need to apply that cycle mentality. They got to change things up. The one-timer on the right wing is just not going to work. Too many PKs. They just have to watch the last 5 penalties against the Ducks and see just exactly what they do for the power play. So they need to mix it up. They need to change something with the power play. We've been talking about it all season long. And then stop a power play for the opponent. The penalty kill has been leaking lately. They've been just not performing as well as they were at the beginning of the season. So special teams, just lock it down, please. I want to have an episode where I can say, oh my gosh, the Ducks special teams were amazing. Please, before the end of this season, let's have one. And speaking of the end of the season, there are 13 games left, but there are so many more episodes of Locked On Anaheim Ducks coming your way every Monday through Friday. Make sure you're tuning in on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with other fans of hockey and Ducks hockey and just sports fans in general. Share. Please, we love the support. Thank you guys. It's so great to see all of you out at the Honda Center and to be recognized and to have people ask me about the show. So please continue supporting us, and I look forward to seeing you out at the Honda Center as well. But thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast, bringing you the daily league-wide stories that matter with the local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Again, I am Kyle Carr. Be good out there.